It's one of those things too, and we can't forget that, coverage and rush all go hand in hand. If one element of it is really being successful, it'll help the other. And so we've just got to be consistent, in all the phases of our defense, whether it's pass rush, underneath coverage, or over the top coverage.
We've asked you a lot about Montez Sweat, but what have you seen from guys like James Smith-Williams and Casey Hill that are coming kind of more into their own?
James is more of a six technique type player. He's got a good body, good physical style player. He's going to get a little bit more push, more so than he's going to get more of the finesse on the outside on the edge. Casey has been a true physical, try-hard guy that gets upfield, relies on his initial quickness, and then goes from there. F.A. Obata is a very by-the-numbers guy. I mean, he's learned the game. He's still learning the game, to be honest with you. But he's got some good natural skill sets that really fit well for a pass rusher. He's just got to learn to continue to develop who he is as a pass rusher. Bradley King has been really he's been very interesting to watch. He's done some really good things. He's got a little bit to him. He's got heavy hands. He does a nice job on the edge. If he can get his pad level down, I think he'll win even more. Probably the guy that gives you a little bit something as a situational pass rusher is Shaka Toney. He's a guy that's got great anticipation, gets off the ball, has a nice dip, and can lean and make that turn on the edge. He's a guy that's intriguing for us, a guy that we're watching and paying attention to. So just really like what he's bringing to the table.
When last year we asked you about, are you going to bring in a veteran pass rusher, you wanted to see that youth. Do you think it's paid off?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do, because I think they've had to play a lot. And that's one of the nice things about when you're able to keep giving young guys opportunities and putting them out there, is that they're going to play. If you look at the transition that this roster's gone through in terms of the age, you notice it's a young group of guys, but those guys have played a lot of football already. And so they're learning how to play the game because they've been on the field and exposed to being on the field. As I talked about last year, my big concern last year was just maturity. I think we're where we need to be in the sense of that. Now it's just continue to grow and develop.
Ron, with Cole Turner, we've seen him flash as a pass catcher, but blocking, where have you seen him grow the most, and where do you think he can improve the most in that aspect?
I think understanding, what it means for him when we talk about leverage, knowing that, hey, the runner's going this way, I got to make sure I'm positioned in this spot. It's when he's coming around an edge, that the tighter I stay to the offensive line, the better angle I'm going to create for myself. Understanding those angles to cut guys off with. Hand placement, I think he can improve a lot on. Body posture in terms of bending at the knees, bending at the hips, so that I am explosive when I go to block. And probably like I said, the biggest thing really is just understanding his hand placements and where to put his hands on people, and again, how to create that leverage.
The other day had some very kind words for you just in terms of what you've meant for him off the field. Obviously, he's got quite the story. How have you seen him grow in that regard over the 6 years you guys have been together? When
I first had him, he was very anxious. He wanted to get out and continue to do things, and I think it got him to where he wasn't focusing on just learning. Hey, this is what you've got to learn. This is what you got to understand and take it to the next level. And now you see that he has worked on specific things, and he's gotten better and better on those things. Whether it's understanding the significance of, get off with leverage, hand placement, and then having the counter ready to go, or the feel as, hey, I've got this angle, I just got to keep pushing it. Sometimes he'd start up field and come underneath way too soon. Now he's got to understand that he looks like he's understood that once I get to a specific level, I can work back underneath. I mean, those are the little things that weren't innate for him. He didn't have that true understanding because, again, he was just developing as a guy.
Yeah, with him and Bada, I mean, you've got two international guys there. Is
Yep.
there a benefit to the whole roster and to team chemistry to have guys with stories like that and backgrounds like that?
Yeah, because I think for our guys, not being an international player, you have a little more appreciation for guys that come in and just see what they've had to go through, how hard they've had to work. The international players have a different flair about them in terms of their work ethic. there's not a lot of bad habits. So you're trying to create good habits for them, trying to get them to understand exactly what it takes to be successful. One thing I will say, and we're very fortunate because the 3 international guys we have, and I'm throwing Samus in that mix, are all 3 tremendous athletes. They really are, and we're very fortunate to have those guys. One of the benefits of having an international player like a guy like David, who's still in the learning process, is that he's here, he's a practice squad guy, he's a bonus guy, it doesn't count against our numbers. And so you have time to watch him develop and grow. Usually it's a 2.5 year process before you see it, in my opinion, if the guy has a chance, and David's getting real close to that spot.
One more. You brought Roy Ellison into the huddle, I think.
Yes.
Anything in
yes.
particular there?
Well, no, the big reason we did was because the referees are here, and I've stressed to the coaches and the players, they're here, so let's make sure we take advantage of the opportunity to ask questions, point out things. We did this is a recovery day for us. We did an hour walkthrough, and then what's going to happen, the players will be going through the recovery with the training staff. We brought in massage therapists. We brought in our chiropractor. And some other extra trainers to come in and do some extra work on the guys' legs and backs, muscles, all that type of stuff. But what we did this morning is we had the referees here. One of the things that they did is they just kind of went through the motions on special teams with our guys. We did a 2-minute drill, and we had before we got started with the referees, I explained to the guys that hey, they're gonna to go do their mechanics. When we complete a ball, receivers, you take the ball to the umpire. Make sure you know who the umpire is. So we introduced Roy before we got started so they knew who they were looking for. And then they would run the ball to Roy. I said, don't put the ball on the ground because the ball might have to go to another hash. Just take it straight to him. And then what happened was when we were going through the process, and this happened in the games, when he went to put the ball down, the offensive line got tight because we were going to spike it. Well, to spike it, you want that tightness so the guys don't fire off into the quarterback. You close up, so now the referee's got to fight. The umpire's got to fight his way through. Roy pointed that out, that happened in the game when one particular team bumped him and knocked him over, where he had to struggle to get through, get up. And then you can't snap the ball till he gets past the quarterback going back to his position, because if you do, that's a penalty, and it's a 10-second runoff. Well, he explained all that stuff to our guys, that this is what happened. Fortunate enough, we had enough time that he was able to get through it, and we were able to spike it, and we had enough, I think it was like 10 or 11 seconds left. We said we had enough for 2 plays. But again, if we do what we do, he gets bumped, and then we snap the ball while he's still in the mix, that's a penalty. It's a 10-second runoff. We would have only had 1 second left to try and make a play. So that's why he was here. We're going to have the referees in our different position groups. We'll have the umpire and the back judge hopefully explaining what they're looking for in holding. We'll have the side judges explain to them what they're looking for in coverage for offensive pass interference, defensive pass interference, all those little types of things. So it's a good opportunity for us to learn from the referees.
Along those lines, do you show them the video of some of those plays that he was talking about, and just to highlight what you're talking about?
That will come up in this afternoon's meeting at 4:30. What we did do today was we did, one of the things that we're doing with our analytics guys is we're looking at trends, what people are doing, different things, and so we're sharing that with our players. This morning we went through one of the scenarios that we're seeing throughout the league, and we just kind of pointed out to our guys, hey, this is some things that you've got to be aware of. It's going to impact both offense, defense, and special teams.
And then with Antonio, and I know there's, it's different in the games and all that, but are you seeing some of the lowering the shoulder that you want to see consistently as he goes through the hole even now?
Well, I would say, yeah, his posture going through is, in terms of understanding that, hey, when I make my read and I go ahead and plant, I got to lower my pads, protect myself, get my shoulders over my legs so that, guys trying to tackle me, I can protect him, using my forearms and stuff like that. You see those things, and he's much more comfortable in doing it, and it's been kind of nice to watch him. It's interesting because when you watch Brian run, then you watch him run, and then you watch JD running, there are differences in their styles. Another name in it, Jonathan Williams. He's done a really nice job. Reggie Bonifant has shown something. I mean, we've got, I think, as good a group of backs here with us right now that we've ever had.
with regards to Brian Robinson, how do you, with the way his running style, how do you judge him in camp where the run game is different, obviously, than it would be normally, and how has the pads changed your view of him the last few days?
Well, that's one of the exciting things about it is you know, things do change when you have pads on. You know, we feel better about what we're seeing from the offensive line. You know, and that's big. I mean, because, you know, when we're just in helmet and shells, you know, because they basically have to catch guys. They're getting pushed back into the quarterback, and it makes it tough on them. It makes it tough on the quarterback. And so now with the pads on, you know, you see that they're stout. They can hold the point. You know, they can be a little more physical with their contact, stuff like that. But as you watch and you look at Brian, you see that with the pads on. You know, you see the way he hits the holes. You do see a little bit more lean, which is big. I mean, it's going to be exciting, you know, tomorrow and then Saturday, because they're going to be 2 padded days, and then we'll go into another day off on Sunday. But there'll be padded days. And the really neat thing is, you know, the energy level will go up at FedEx. It really will. I'm excited because, you know, from what I understand, we should have a pretty good turnout of fans there. And it'll be good for our guys. It'll ramp some things up. We're going to do some live periods and try and get, you know, some of that excitement going for our players. I mean, we want to be able to make some contact. We want to be able to get these guys prepared to tackle going into the first preseason game. And that's what I'm looking forward to as far as this weekend's concerned with both Friday and Saturday's practice.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All righty, cool. Thank you, guys.
What happened to those massage therapists for the sports writers?
Oh, shit, you guys missed your time. It was during.
Sorry to that.